Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you are ready and prepared to go to Ranger Research Day this Friday. I wanted to give a rundown of events of what to expect from here on out in the semester, but let's start with Friday. It's a big deal for us. And so just FYI, here's a list of tasks to finish out our experimental class. And so let's talk about Friday. Friday the 16th. Number one, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about this in class, but please be sure to bring a cardboard trifold display. You'll need this. So it's like, your seventh grade science fair project. You have a cardboard display that you'll want to make sure that you bring. Now, we talked about various presentation means in class, but what I'll do is I'll bring a few of these binder clips here, and we'll use these to clip the your posters. If you had them print them, we'll use these to clip them on that cardboard backing. So I've got probably 20 or so of those. So if you have some, please bring them. Otherwise, I'll try to bring some. You can buy that stuff at Walmart, Staples, Merrifield's, whatever. Will help. Enid students, please be aware that we're going to meet up here Friday morning. Be up here by 6:55. We're going to try to get out of here at 7. Takes about an hour and 15 minutes to drive to Alva. So, I would like to leave at 7 a.m. if possible. We'll take the van, and Tiffany, if you want to come along, that's well too. If you want to meet us up here, it's all well and fine. If you have an emergency, we had an emergency last year. The person didn't make it. Call me or text me at 402-0478. But let's all get up here and bright and early, and we'll get off. And if we're early enough, maybe we can stop and get a coffee or something. Anyway, all other students, if you're Alva, or if you're driving from somewhere else, please meet me on the second floor. Meet us on the second floor of the Northwestern Oklahoma State University Student Center. This is on the Alva campus, in the middle of campus, before 8:30. To set up posters. So we'll meet on the second floor. It's there where the bookstore is. So then we'll have Ranger Research Day from 8:30 to 12:30 p.m. So Enid students, those that ride with me, will depart around at 12:30. Hit the road. And maybe we'll stop in Cherokee at the Sonic or Subway for a bite if we have time. If you need to get back, we can just hit the road and go. So that takes us through Ranger Research Day. Now, after we get done with Ranger Research Day, we've got a few more hurdles that we have to get through. So we have your overall paper, which is, a third of your grade, and then your presentation. So these two things make up half of your grade. It's still left out there. Please know your paper is due 11/27, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Getting specific. So please be aware that your paper is due that day. It's the Tuesday after the Thanksgiving break. So that's for consideration for full credit. I'm going to take off 10%, one letter grade for every day it's late. So please be aware of that. If you are late, it can go downhill quickly. Here's the tasks that need to be completed for that. So as we talked about in class, please make sure, I'm sure a lot of you have not edited yet, but please change all verbs to past tense. So go through your whole paper. One person did a really good job, ended up getting a D in the class because they didn't make any changes to their paper. They were, actually they got a D on the paper, a C in the class. So they were really, really heartbroken because they were like, I tried to spend all my, but they didn't change their verbs. So please make sure you change all verbs to past tense. Again, you used future tense when you made your paper originally last spring. That goes from the abstract all the way to the discussion. You'll want to change your methods section to actually reflect what happened. So this includes your participants. Don't put down, I was going to use 30 participants. No, you put down who you actually used, what our statistics that we ran, what the N equals number actually indicates. So males, females, break down juniors, seniors, that sort of thing. Break it down demographically. Talk about what you actually did in your methods section. So if it changed, if you modified it a little bit, talk about contacting, the professors, emailing them, reaching out in person. All these things need to be in there. So talk about what really happened. And then you talk about your results. Your results section, now this should reflect your statistics. I've had a chance to go over statistics with everyone in the class, so you should have some SPSS printouts, some information that will help you. So first, you want to cover in the results section what actually happened regarding your hypothesis or hypotheses. So your research questions, what were you actually setting out to try to understand, or what questions did you ask? You want to report those results first, regardless of whether they're significant or not. So if you need help with this, go back and look at your IRB document where you stated the purpose of your research. That'll help you identify what I need to include first in my results section. I want you to clearly state your independent variables and dependent variables. If there's just one, that's okay. You can include those. Many of you had several independent variables and more than one dependent variable too. So if you use more than one scale, like for anxiety and depression, you'd report those are two dependent variables, anxiety and depression. They're separate. Second, report other interesting findings. So a lot of you found significance when we went over our statistics together. A lot of you found significance in places you weren't expecting. And so that's okay. Let's go ahead and report those, but let's do those second. Let's do, and so forth, as you report your main hypothesis first. Okay, very important for your discussion section. A lot of people lost points from this last year. So your discussion section should include the following components. So please focus and rewind this if you have to make sure you get the right components, because these are the things I'm looking for as I'm grading. So why you found what you did in your results. Try to offer an explanation of why you either supported the null hypothesis or rejected the null hypothesis. Reflect on that. Again, if you found significance, you reject the null. So again, it's that double negative backwardsness. These three components right here are absolutely necessary. So I would make a subheading for each one of these things, okay? Because I'm going to look specifically for this. First of all, report the implications. So what are the implications? You'll make a subheading that says implications, and this is regardless of whether or not you found significance. You still learned something. So what are the implications of your finding? The limitations or shortcomings. So each of you learned something. Oh, I wish I'd have done this, or gosh, if I could have gone back and done this. Each one of you learned something. So what would you do differently if you had to do it over again? Or if you couldn't do it differently, what were the limitations? Was it the sample? Was it the instrument? Was it the topic that you were studying? You just couldn't really control for all variables. Talk about the limitations here. And then you want to go over ideas for future research. Okay, given what you found, what study should be conducted in the future? What ideas, if you're a researcher and wanted to go in and you were paid $100,000 a year just to research this topic, not that happens very often, but if you were paid all this money to go and research your topic, what would you study? What would you want to take off from here? Where would you want to go? What advice would you give to people? Okay. That was your paper. Make sure you have those components. That's a big percentage of your grade. Now, lastly, let's talk about your presentation. So be prepared to present after. I'm not going to make people present the day that they're worried about their paper. We are going to meet Tuesday after Thanksgiving, but please be prepared on that Thursday after your papers are due to present. So that means either bring your poster or have your digital file where you can put it up via Blackboard, via PowerPoint, and show what you found. So either bring your poster to class where you can zoom in on it and we can show the class, or have it digitally so where you can share it. So each of you will do the following. It's basically you're going to take us through all the sections of your paper. So please don't be intimidated by this. Each one of you should have a really good idea after you write about it of what's in there. So first of all, you'll describe the initial reasons why you chose your topic, and then what prior research told you about your topic. So don't just read your introduction. Find the highlights from your introduction and what did you find when you actually did research on what you wanted to study. And then you'll go into and describe your methods. Who did you talk to? What were you, describe your demographics, how many males, how many females, sophomore, seniors, age range, mean age, describe your results. What did you find? What statistics did you run? I'll ask you a little bit about that. And then go into your discussion. So each one of you will have a chance to write your discussion. So again, these three ideas. What were the implications? What were your limitations or shortcomings? And what ideas do you have for future research? So again, it's just really a reflection of your paper. It's just you getting up in front of an audience and talking about your poster then. We will meet our last 4 class sessions. Attendance is required, absolutely. And I will count you off if you're not there. And so we will use our posters to present our findings to the class. Again, that's a big component of it's 100 points of your grade to do that presentation. This is also something I haven't spoken about yet, but after you finish writing your paper on November 28th, put your raw data, your surveys, your consent forms, put them in separate envelopes and send them back to me via courier. So I'm required to keep those. That's what we said in our IRB agreement. And I have a locked file cabinet here that I'll keep your data in. And that comes in handy if you ever go to graduate school or want to resume this research, look at it differently. I have a graduate student that came, she graduated 2 years ago, and she came back and got her data, and she's still working on her study. And so it's here, it's available for you. And that's if you go on and want to improve your research or want to look at your data again. That's important to keep it. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Please use this as a tool, as a guide for you throughout the rest of the class to help you figure out what do I need to do. So contact me as always. If you have questions, reach out via email. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you Friday, and I'm excited to see this come to fruition, this journey that we started way back in January together. So I look forward to seeing you, and happy researching, happy poster making, and happy writing. See you soon. Bye.